PM is speaking and we need to talk to him about, hear from him about this. Let's listen.
And this afternoon I'm travelling to Mutijulu, the Indigenous community there in Central Australia, very close to Uluru, where the Uluru Statement from the Heart, of course, began in the lead-up and was finalised at the First Nations Constitutional Convention in 2017. This afternoon I'll have the great privilege of meeting with the artists who did that wonderful art around the Uluru Statement, the one-page Uluru Statement, which has been travelling around Australia for people to see. This gracious invitation to walk with First Nations people to a better future. As Yunupingu said, he spoke about lighting a fire at Uluru that would, he hoped, spread around the world. He leaves an extraordinary legacy of being one of the Indigenous leaders of this country who had that vision of bringing the two worlds together. And as the Uluru Statement from the Heart says, it speaks about the children and how Indigenous Australians just want a better future and love and hope and optimism for future generations. And that's what this is about. The Uluru Statement from the Heart and the referendum on Saturday is just about two things: recognising the first Australians in our nation's founding document, something that should have happened in 1901, recognising that our history goes back some 65,000 years. It's a source of pride. And secondly, just a non-binding advisory committee so that we can listen to Indigenous Australians about matters that affect them, about their priorities. And so the words in the constitutional change make it very clear it doesn't change the way that decisions are made by Parliament and by government. All it asks for is that people be listened to, not too much to ask. And I do hope that Australians accept this invitation from the first Australians on Saturday and in the lead-up, because a no vote is saying that what we have now is just good enough. We can just keep doing the same. There's no alternative on the table. This is the option that has been asked for, requested by First Nations people themselves after a long process, most of which occurred under the former coalition government.
What do you make, though, of this region? I guess it's a really conservative seat. Do you think you might be in trouble here, particularly in this region?
Well, people here, and when I was in Whyalla as well, were very supportive, the people that I spoke to, and certainly the Aboriginal leaders here in the community who attended the event last night were very supportive of a yes vote in this referendum. And I hope that community members listen to those voices and accept the invitation to walk with them. There's everything to gain here and absolutely nothing to lose. There is no downside. And I ask people who've been listening to some of the fear campaigns that are out there to just think back to the reasons why we never had an apology to the stolen generations. People at that time, including Peter Dutton, of course, who found it so reprehensible that he walked out on the apology. He's the only current member of Parliament in the House of Representatives who walked out when the apology was given. Brendan Nelson, the then Liberal Party member, gave a very gracious and supporting speech that day on the floor of the House of Representatives. Now, Peter Dutton said that he regretted that action and apologised for not being a part of the apology. And yet we're having a similar scare campaign, similar rhetoric that was there with Mabo, with other things. There were people in South Australia, of course, the first place in the world to give women the right to vote and stand for Parliament, there were people then who said, oh, well, not every woman agrees with giving women the right to vote. It will have a downside. It will detract from the position of men in society. There are a whole lot of downsides. If you replace that rhetoric with the rhetoric today, then there's some similar soundings. But there's nothing to fear here. South Australia has a proud history of being at the forefront of social change in Australia. It's one of the reasons why we chose South Australia with Premier Malinowskis and Indigenous leaders to launch the date for the referendum of the 14th of October, when we launched that in Elizabeth in the northern suburbs of Adelaide. And I sincerely hope that South Australia, consistent with the world-leading reforms that we've seen from South Australia over a long period of time, whether it was the right to women or the reforms of Don Dudston and other South Australian leaders over a long period of time, that they come together and support a yes vote on Saturday. Thanks very much. Thank you.